One of the first things you typically hear from Naruto fans is they talk about Sasuke Uchiha and how he wanted to restore the Uchiha clan, and then the conversation usually shifts over to people saying that he failed at having to do so because he only had one kid. But it also shifts to another question that people ask, which is, why didn't Sasuke just use the art of the Reni Rebirth to revive all the members of the Uchiha clan? Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where we take a look at the answer to the question that quite a few of you guys have probably asked yourself at least once during your time as a fan of the Naruto franchise. For this video, we'll be taking a similar approach to the video that we did titled What Restored the Uchiha Clan Really Means for Sasuke, which means we'll be looking at the question people have asked about this topic, why it hasn't been done in universe, and how this narrative decision to not revive the clan goes back to the very meaning behind the symbol of the Uchiha clan crest, and what the true significance of Sasuke not reviving the Uchiha clan through the art of the Reni Rebirth truly is when you consider all the inspirations that led to the Naruto series being created and all the writing behind it. So let's be very clear. This is a deeply layered topic with spiritual, narrative, and cultural factors that have to be taken into consideration. But first, we're going to start with a huge misconception. People say the Reni Rebirth, it just needs chakra. This is not true. The reality is that it costs the user their life. In early Naruto lore, Nagato/Pain believed that his overuse of chakra, it caused the premature death after using the Reni Rebirth. However, by the Fourth Great Ninja War, the truth about the technique becomes clear. It's not just chakra intensive. It is, for all intents and purposes, a definitive sacrificial jutsu. The fourth Naruto databook says that the Reni Rebirth requires the user's life to return others to life. Obito, when choosing to use the Reni Rebirth to atone, knows this and he accepts he's going to die. Zetsu flat out says the only reason that Obito survived was because Zetsu was keeping him alive, and at the time Obito had the husk of the Ten Tails. When Obito is talking trash to Madara early on in the war, he flat out tells Madara that Madara needs Obito to throw his life away to bring Madara back to life in order to have Madara become a Ten Tails Jinchuriki. So here's the thing, if Sasuke were to try to use it, he would immediately die. That defeats the whole purpose. Reviving his clan, it will be futile if their only surviving heir and leader at the time would be dead. Obviously, Fugaku would be back, but Fugaku seeing his son's corpse, that would cause a lot of questions. This alone nullifies the fan idea of him using the Reni Rebirth to revive the clan, but the reasoning it runs a lot deeper, particularly when you consider the symbolism of the Uchiha clan crest itself, something that everyone that I've seen talk about this topic has never broached. So grab those shovels because we're going way beneath the surface for this next part. The Uchiha clan symbolism is the Uchiwa Fan, and why reviving them would violate the very meaning of the crest that Sasuke wears. The Uchiha crest is based on the Uchiwa, a traditional Japanese paper fan. This is not just a visual motif like people think. It symbolizes the essence of the Uchiha, and it also serves as a spiritual metaphor for their fate, something that, again, I have not seen anyone else talk about. The Uchiwa Fan, it controls fire, but it cannot create fire. The Uchiwa's primary function is to fan flames, making them stronger. This represents the Uchiha clan's fiery nature, their fire-based jutsu, their passionate emotions, their passion in particular when it comes to love. Those passionate emotions can either elevate them or they can consume them. They also have the ability to spread destruction when left unchecked, such as Madara and Obito in each of the instances that they were left unchecked. But a key detail here is this: an Uchiwa does not create fire. It only manipulates what is already in existence. This really parallels Sasuke's inability to restore the Uchiha clan from nothing. Even if he fans the flames and he revives them, their original fire, their identities, their beliefs, their conflicts, they will return unchanged. A lot of them would come back with the very hatred for Konoha that they had when they died. By reviving the Uchiha, Sasuke would not be creating a future for him. He would only be fanning the flames of the very past, reigniting their old conflicts with Konoha. And Kishimoto understood this. Notice that Sasuke chose very interesting words when confronted with Madara. He called him a relic of the past. This was done by purpose. Also, the Uchiwa, it symbolizes cycles of revenge and resentment. So fire, when fanned, it grows uncontrollable. This reflects the endless cycle of revenge that the Uchiha clan were trapped trapped in for a long time, whether it be the Warring States era where the Senju and the Uchiha were fighting against each other. They're also descendants of Ashura and Indra. You had Madara and Hashirama fighting that led to the Uchiha clan's political downfall eventually several generations later. You had the Uchiha clan versus Konoha. People like Setsuna Uchiha tried to overthrow Tobirama, never got the chance to do so. Eventually Fugaku tried it, never got the chance to do so. You had Itachi versus the Uchiha clan, which led to the massacre itself. You had Sasuke versus Konoha, in that Sasuke was hell-bent on destroying everything, and he started out with wanting to kill Danzo and the elders. By not reviving the Uchiha, Sasuke, he's breaking this cycle. He prevents the fan from spreading more flames of hatred, stopping history from repeating itself. Had he used the art of the Reni Rebirth, the Uchiha clan's rage, dishonor, and their conflict, it would return. In the same tragic cycle, it will begin anew. You also have the Shinto concepts of impurity from the past. So in Shintoism, an important concept is impurity, and that often arises from death, war, and unresolved hatred. The Uchiha clan just happened to be part of what? Trapped in a cycle of hatred. In particular, Sasuke as a reincarnate of Ashura and Indra. The Uchiha were massacred in an event that was soaked in hatred. Their resurrection would not be a clean slate. It would bring a spiritual pollution, which is when the vengeful dead disrupt the world of the living. The idea of the Uchiha clan as a clan of spirits that's trapped in hatred aligns with this concept. Trying to bring them back unnaturally, which that's what the art of the Reni Rebirth is, it would not restore them to peace, but rather summon them as angry reverence of the past itself. People who cannot let go of their suffering. We would be right back in the situation we were in, especially when they found out, hey, Konoha told Itachi, kill all you guys. Sasuke, by keeping their memory rather than their physical presence, it represents their rest and it prevents the spread of impurity. Then it gets even deeper when you look at how the Uchiwa Fan also ties into a core theme of Naruto, which is the Will of Fire. The Will of Fire is the philosophical opposite of the Uchiha clan's curse of hatred. The fan, it fuels fire, but the Will of Fire, it spreads warmth and not destruction. It's a polar opposite of the Uchiha clan, despite ironically them being members of the Hidden Leaf village that believes in passing on a Will of Fire. The Uchiha clan, they kept their emotions inward. That led to resentment. The Will of Fire, it promotes self-sacrifice for the next generation. By choosing to raise a family instead of revive his dead clan, and by choosing to restore the honor of the Uchiha clan, which is not about repopulating the clan, Sasuke abandons the old flames of vengeance and embraces a new fire, the Will of Fire, something that he once rejected when he left the village. His fire is no longer fanned by hatred, but instead his fire is something that is fueled by love for his daughter, love for his wife, love for Naruto, love for his comrades. Instead of trying to revive the ashes of the past, Sasuke is building a future through Sarada. This is why his role in Boruto is so important. He is the last full-blooded Uchiha and survivor of that era, yet he chooses not to reignite the Uchiha clan's flames. Instead, he guides the next generation, in particular his daughter Sarada, who wants to become Hokage, which would further break the chain of suffering that Uchiha have faced in Konoha, as well as guiding his student Boruto. Basically, Sasuke, when you look at the crest that he wears, Sasuke let those flames die out because the fan has been put to rest. New flames have spurred up as a result. The Uchiha Fan is a powerful symbol of control, destruction, and destiny, but Sasuke chooses to close it. His vengeance has been rejected. That keeps the fan at rest. He does not try to fan dead flames because the past must remain in the past. He also accepts impermanence, allowing the Uchiha spirit to live on in Sarada and redirect it instead of resurrect it by having dead ghosts come back to life. Had he used the Reni Rebirth, Sasuke would have reignited a flame that was meant to die. Instead, he carries it with warmth moving forward, not as an avenger, but as a protector of the future. Some flames must burn out so that new ones can arise. This is a quote that is another way of saying a Japanese expression that ashes to make way for a new fire. It's an idea that's present in Japanese culture that the need for old things to fade for new things to be born, which ties into the Buddhist ideals and principles of impermanence. The Uchiha, as Sasuke knew them, their past, they are ashes. Sasuke is not reviving a clan, is a recognition premonition that ties back to those fans not being used for those ashes to try to make new flames because he knows it's futile. Instead, he's allowing a new fire, that fire being Sarada, her future where she strives to be Hokage, to take form naturally, and he is guiding it. His actions are serving as the metaphorical flame now. In order for her to do that, narratively, the sins of the Uchiha clan have to be left in the past, even if it means, say, someone like Itachi stays in the afterlife, which that brings us to Itachi in general. Sasuke's personal choice and reflections in Sasuke Retsuden, the Uchiha in the Heavenly Stardust. In this story, Sasuke is shown pondering deeply about loss and resurrection, in particular when it comes to Itachi, something that the anime version never showed you. If something were to happen with Sakura, or if he had a chance to bring Itachi back again, what would he do? That is something that Sasuke thought about, in particular when it came to resurrection purposes. Sasuke at this point in time, he never considers the order of the Reni Rebirth, even though by this time he fully understands its power. This absence of thought accepts the reality of death and the respect for karma, which is a key in Buddhist and Shinto ideals. It shows that Sasuke, he's not obsessed with playing God like how fans want him to be. He knows that tampering with fate leads to a spiritual imbalance, or at least that's how his character is being presented. This is a strategic, or rather this is a symbolic use of his character. This is very important because Sasuke has matured beyond vengeance, and he is not so arrogant as to try to reverse the natural order. There's also a thematic reason, the tragedy of the Uchiha clan itself. By reviving the Uchiha clan, it's not as idealistic as it seems. That sounds great in fan fiction, but not in universe. The Uchiha clan's downfall, it was not clean cut. Many of them were planning a coup d'etat to betray Konoha. Not all of them, but a lot of them were. A majority of them were. People like Itachi, Shisui, and Izumi Uchiha, they were all a minority in the clan, even Izumi's own mother, Sasuke in general. They were a minority. While not every Uchiha was guilty, there was widespread distrust, resentment, and division. Reviving them means resurrecting a powdered keg of political instability, distrust for Konoha, family trauma, and conflicted loyalties, because again, not all of them were down for this. You would cause a civil war, or potentially cause the Uchiha to unite against Konoha once the truth comes out, and it ultimately would come out. And what's worse, they would return knowing that Itachi, their kin, killed them for Konoha, because Itachi would be right there in the midst of all of them, and they say, hey, Itachi kill you? Itachi kill you? Then they begin to start asking questions. In Japanese culture, especially when it comes to Bushido and clan-based loyalty systems, this is devastating. And as I've talked about before, Sasuke's character is ridden with a lot of samurai elements. Hence, I'm referencing things like Bushido. Clan honor, it is paramount. Learning of Itachi's betrayal, even if it is justified, it would dishonor the Uchiha clan bloodline. Even though they were carrying out dishonor by carrying out a coup, you start going down a slippery slope. Some might retaliate, a lot of them would. Others might be driven mad with the shame. Sasuke as a character understands this. Resurrection is not going to bring about peace. It would only tear the world apart. Sasuke, being someone who had to be dragged out the darkness, understands what this would do for a clan. Then you have the Buddhist and Shinto interpretations. Naruto is deeply inspired by Japanese spiritual thought. So let's take a look at the Reni Rebirth through that lens itself. In Buddhism, you have samsara and the natural cycle. As you guys have heard me talk about the Rinnegan a million times before, and six past powers in general, samsara is what is tied to all the Rinnegan jutsu and basically everything that came from Kaguya. Buddhism teaches the impermanence of life, birth, death, rebirth. That is samsara. They are all natural and they must be accepted. The six paths that the Rinnegan references represent different karmic existence, with rebirth being governed by karma, not by manipulation. The art of the Reni Rebirth, it is an unnatural distortion of karma. That is why the fourth data book tells us that it kills the user. They project their soul into the afterlife to bring back whoever it is, however many people they're going to revive, but eventually they have to give their life as a result. Using it selfishly or politically to restore a clan, that would be seen as tampering with samsara, which invites suffering and spiritual regression. This technique, it mirrors the devas or the ashras, those with great power, but they fall due to ego and clinging. Sasuke in his post-war self, when you really sit down and look at his character, the beauty of his writing comes from the fact that he has moved a lot closer to Buddhist detachment. He has let go of vengeance. He walks a path of atonement, not self-glorification. Then, when you get into Shintoism, there's the concept of purity, ancestral vinification, and balance in general. Shinto is about respecting the dead, the kami ancestor, keeping the world of the living and the dead separate, avoiding pollution by unnatural acts, basically restoring the Uchiha clan via resurrection. It disrupts the cosmic harmony and it dishonors the ancestral spirits who have passed on. It's a spiritual violation. In Shinto, death is not always a tragedy. It is a rite of passage. It is a return to the kami realm. Interfering with that process, that taints the resurrector. It pollutes the spiritual world and it brings misfortune to those who come back to life. Sasuke's travels and his time as a wanderer, reflecting on his penance, reflecting on whether or not he is worthy of the second chance that Naruto brought about for him, as stated in Sasuke Shin in the Book of Sunrise, as well as the Akatsuki Hiden Evil Flowers in Full Bloom story, and also spiritual purification. It's not a accumulation of sins that you take lightly. Forgiveness is also something that is not universal in Naruto. Naruto is a story about redemption, absolutely, but not everyone is forgiven. This applies to both villains and victims. The Uchiha clan's destruction was not universally condemned or undone. Itachi was posthumously honored by Naruto and Sasuke through their actions. The Sasuke Shin in Book of Sunrise does say that Naruto told people after the war that Itachi's the reason why they beat the Edo Tensei, but he didn't say anything about the Uchiha massacre, and that pissed off Sasuke that Naruto would even tell people that Itachi helped them, because he did not believe that Itachi would have wanted that. However, notice that the sins of the past stayed buried. Neji and Jiraiya, others, they're not brought back either, because resurrection is not something that you abuse. Even for the people that Nagato revived, there was suffering that came after the fact. The world was dragged into a ninja war. Kakashi in particular suffered a lot because he had to face Obito and learn the truth about what happened. Just as Konoha had to suffer after being restored. If Sasuke brought back the Uchiha, they would suffer as well. In conclusion, I'll say this. Restoring the Uchiha clan through the art of the Rinne Rebirth, it would violate Sasuke's character. It will violate the story's themes and the entire natural order itself. Sasuke does not use Rinne Rebirth to revive the Uchiha clan because he would die and the clan would still be lost without him being the Uchiha who has overcome the cycle of hatred to lead them, which would be necessary. Sasuke would be dead. Thematically, his character is written to show a respect for the flow of karma and samsara and not commit the ultimate spiritual arrogance of resurrection. He's also grown spiritually in terms of his writing. He has moved beyond revenge and ego. Reviving them would also unleash political chaos, dishonor, and resentment. Also, in Buddhist and Shinto belief, resurrection is a taboo. It disrupts the harmony between realms, and there's always blowback to some degree when it's done. Narratively, Naruto teaches us that peace, it comes through accepting the past, but not necessarily rewriting the past. There are some differences here. You could argue maybe Izanami and Izanagi are used for that, but those have a much deeper spiritual reason why they're used in the story itself. Sasuke, as a lone survivor, chooses to carry the memory of his clan rather than disturb the rest. That in of itself, when you really sit down and think about it, that is a final act of love, to walk forward alone, but not in hatred, and to serve as the metaphorical fan that is fanning the flames of his daughter, who is the representation of Sasuke trying to restore the honor of the Uchiha clan, because he is aiding in her goal to become Hokage. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and clicking here on the left for more videos from Naruto Explained, or click here on the right for videos from my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content.